We have lost Objective Charlie. We have lost Objective Apples. An anti-vehicle kit is available near your location. Objective Duff.
Objective taken!
Represent radio with DJ Squake. Represent radio with DJ Squake.
Yo, this is MC Fats, man, and I'm thinking of DJ Squake on Represent Radio. That's how it goes. Pure drum and bass, baby, but it's rolling all the way. And I'm thinking of DJ Squake.
How's it going, Bass Drive? I'm your host, DJ Squake, and you're tuned in to Represent Radio live right here on Bass Drive. How's it going, Bass Drive? Big shouts going out to DJ Handy for the last show. Always massive, my friend. Shouts to the chat room crew, Silver Hornet and Bender. I gotta start today's show off with a special dedication to Chris Cornell. My heart is very heavy. He was an inspiration to me. He was a huge SoundCloud fan, so his voice is a gift to the world. And you know, drum and bass, this music unity. Mental suffering is real. It's not illness. It's something that every human goes through. And the way that we heal this illness or this suffering is love, kindness, and unity. That's the key. That's the key to healing. You never know what someone is going through. A strange person on the street, it might be the worst day of their life, and a random act of kindness, it might just be the one thing that changes them forever. A stranger gave me a hug one day when I was in my lowest, deepest darkness of pain, and that hug changed my life. Now I travel the world spreading the message of love through hugs and music. We all have the power to choose. Darkness, negative, evil, bad, whatever you want to call it, you can't
We are losing Objective Duff.
presence of love. Good. But light can't exist without darkness. If we didn't have darkness, so make a choice and choose positive. Tragedy happens, and it's in this moment that you have the power to choose.
When I going out! You ain't out! What the hell?
So embrace it. Out of the way, just keep it. So don't worry, don't judge.
Capture the objective!
I'm so funny. And this song right here is something that this is exactly what this song is about. So maybe this is true. So I will check it out.
Spotted a scout!
We have taken objective apples.
Keeping minds in chains.
We have lost objective Freddy. We have lost objective apples. We have taken objective Freddy.
I'm looking at a machine gun! We've got to capture the objective! Medic sighted! medic!
Objective Charlie.
Ammunition! Capture the objective now!
We have taken objective butter. We have lost lost objective Duff.
Throwing a grenade! We've got to capture the position!
We have lost objective Butter. We have taken objective Freddy. We have taken
Capture the
objective Duff.
objective.
We have taken objective Charlie. We are winning.
Look, there, the scout. Capture the objective.
We have lost.
pretty difficult for white to save this stone. So that's 14 points, and there's 6 points here. So that's 22. Black has, let's see, black has not captured this yet. So black has about 20 points in these two territories. More than 20 points there, so that's more than 40 points. And about 15 points here, so that's 55 points.
And white gets a few more points.
White gets a few more points, but there is still this move here that white has to be worried about. So that's not a white territory really very much. Maybe 2 or 3 points that can count for white.
Saying 5 points in there, plus here.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that's 15 points if you add the coin. So 20 points plus this is, no, that's 20, about 20 points at least. So it's a minimum of 20 points.
20 points.
And so that's 35.
35.
And so it's something around 50. And maybe white's going to take this stone.
Black has 55.
That sounds like it's a close game.
Yes.
Yeah. And like the way I'm counting, I'm not counting exactly enough for that's sort of within the area of doubt. Like if we said for sure that white had 50 and black had 55, it would be more like we would be saying white's winning by 2.5 points. But I'm not really doing that exact calculation. Looks like we have some friends coming up to spell us.
Hello.
Hello. Do you have any information from the Chinese study group?
I'm afraid we don't.
Oh dear.
But it does look like the fight in the upper side resolved itself.
Yes. It looks like we're coming into the end game now.
So you... suggest that it was inevitable that white would save his stones on the left side. White would save its
Well,
stones.
it's a big move, like but it's about 12 points.
Sure.
And instead of white apparently felt that taking the initiative was more important. Like white did get a couple of extra points here in return for sacrificing this. So it's about a 10-point difference. And then you have to count the fact that these 3 stones are still on the board. So I'm sort of partially convinced that maybe Master AlphaGo is playing better than I expected, than the variation that I was showing, that is.
Oh, okay.
And the fact that white has the initiative probably is a play here, but I'm not sure. This looks like a big
white
started this way.
Yeah.
So maybe white's going after some territory in the center.
I see.
I just don't know what's going to happen in the center. I hope you do a good job commenting.
Thank you.
Because this is an area that looks like no man's land, but it could turn into a white's territory.
Sure.
But as I counted, it looks pretty close now.
I was reminded on the left side of perhaps this is one of the slower moves that AlphaGo makes to ensure a known result.
It's taking a local loss to take the initiative, so it's not the same as the moves that I was pointing out in earlier AlphaGo.
So there's a qualitative difference there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
It's really hard to evaluate the situation. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of
So it's going to be interesting in that game. So, have a good time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in an hour. All right.
So, Andrew.
Yeah, we're back.
Yes.
Yeah!
So when I jumped over here, it seems like white is trying to strengthen this group, but actually it's also looking at the center area like this.
Oh.
Yes.
Is
For
this
example,
center-
if black took this one stone, which is really good place, it must be very tempting for Kaji. But if white takes this one, white's territory in the center would become really big.
Is there no way for black to break in through some of the more tenuous areas?
Right, so black can use a little bit. But not after that, there isn't much more. say black can do this. After that, right, and over here there is a little bit of the room, but white doesn't really need to worry about this stone, so white can just block the center with.
And just like that, it looks like
Right.
25.
Right, this would easily make more than 10 points, which AlphaGo willingly sacrificed.
Nice.
So this was forcing black to connect this one stone, or at least reduce the center potential. And black is here.
Rather than
Right, yes.
take the tempting.
Right. And white attached here. It would be quite scary to respond this move because you see this cutting over here is sent for white. And then black has an answer here. Then white can cut this one.
Does black have to answer here even though these stones have been captured?
That's a very good question.
I imagine he can't
Oh
play
wait,
here.
there is a
Keep and cut on the top.
and wait, actually that was fair point because black can answer this way, and and then white can connect. So it's eventually the same because if black doesn't answer here, white. I thought white could cut here, but actually white can't. So this is not centered.
Why can white not cut? Oh, because of the...
Yeah, because of this.
I believe I saw
Right,
Michael.
yes, I almost forgot. Yes, Michael showed us this
Capture.
sequence earlier. So that means if black blocks here, there isn't much white can do.
I see.
So let's look at the game.
Yeah. This seems like a good time. They've just shown us the counting.
Right.
Maybe we can take a step back and take a look at how we got here.
Yes. So in the opening, black was going after all this territory from the 3-3 point to this 3-3 point. And then after that, we also saw black's early invasion.
And it's kind of interesting to see how it turned out. The two
Yes.
corners that white took originally have become black's territory.
Right,
The
yes.
two corners that black took originally have largely become white's territory.
Somewhat, yes. Right. So while black was taking all these corner territories, white built huge moil on the lower side. And then these two stones seemed like were quite in dire danger.
Right.
But black actually handled it quite well by like lightly attaching and hane, and then black managed to just make it small, and then connect this side to this area.
So was this reduction successful enough for black, or was it maybe not successful enough?
So that's a very interesting question because being successful and being successful enough is
Two very
kind
different
of
things.
different, right? So I would say the reduction itself was successful. But apparently that was not quite enough because after this, when white went to the upper side, it seemed like it was difficult for black to have enough territory to be compensated for the komi that black has to give later.
Right. The 7.5 points.
Yes, yes.
So what about this move that black made, jumping out into the middle? I heard it described as sort of master-like, or an imitation of the Master series of games. It seemed like it just left the door open. Just as this move down here was an invitation for black to invade, it seemed like this was an invitation for white to invade.
Right, yes. That would have been somewhat surprising move to many people because the first intuition, as you mentioned, would be playing directly on the upper side.
Right.
But we did see a lot of AlphaGo moves that were kind of in the center, looking at several places at the same time. This move was similar in that sense, and I quite liked it. I thought it looked quite nice.
So surprising, but maybe not questionable.
Right, yes. And then when white came closer to the black side, and then black invaded, and then we saw that white's group over here was being attacked. And then when white's group was quite weak. I thought black may have
Have a
some
chance.
hope. Yes, some chance. But AlphaGo was prepared with this
This
attach.
attachment.
Yes.
It almost seems like if Kojei's strategy was to force AlphaGo to go all or nothing to try and kill it,
Yes.
AlphaGo somehow managed to decline. Like, it just elected not to be put in that situation, and it seemed almost like Kojei was the one who ended up in the position of having to kill AlphaGo.
That's
right?
true. And it's
So how did it get turned around like that?
Feeling. I think it's the same thing happened in this other match, where it feels like AlphaGo is not really trying, but it's somehow ahead.
Right. It just seems very happy with whatever you're choosing.
Right. Like you let them like keep the territory. Like AlphaGo was like very gently answering all the moves by like blocking the center, and then when Kojei came in, like he even AlphaGo even let it connect,
Right.
just keeping the small area. But turned out it was enough. Yes.
Enough, right. And I guess we were already at a very early stage when we saw that this peep on the cut here,
Yes.
this peep was almost slow.
Right.
Almost,
I heard some pros were questioning the peeping move because it was not Sensei.
Right. But I wonder if that is an indication of that AlphaGo maybe thought it was already winning. Do you suppose that could be possible?
I am not quite sure.
Historically, we've seen that AlphaGo is quite content to win by just half a point instead of by 25 points.
Yes.
So it's possible that a slow move could indicate that it just is choosing a more certain path towards its eventual victory.
Yes. So going back to the actual game, it seems like black answered this way, and white hunted here. Black connected. Yes. White hunted. That's also a little surprising.
How so?
Oh, because black. So this is another interesting point. This move is only possible if these two stones are important. What happens is that black cuts here, and then white. If white cuts here, then like there is not much happening. But white can take this one.
Right. And black can't save these two stones if he connects.
Yes. If black connects, disaster happens.
Right. Oh man.
Yes. And then black takes this one.
But it is unable to help him escape. Because even if he connects here,
Yes.
captured.
Right. But then, when white plays here, black can. Yes.
White's
And then-
profit is only these two stones, right?
Yes. White plays here. This is considered small because it's only 4 points plus maybe 5 or 6. And white lost its Sente.
They're not cutting stones. So why would this be an important point for us?
Right. Another thing we need to remember is that in order to capture these two stones, white sacrificed this one. This one stone and also this spot, which makes white's diagonal move like not Sente.
Less effective. that's
Right. Because otherwise white could do this end game instead. So these two stones can be considered important only if this white group is not like quite safe.
So do you think AlphaGo is perceiving that there is some danger to the whole group?
Actually, what I'm thinking is that AlphaGo sees this group as uncertainty.
Ah, so this is again just trying to close in on the most certain
Right,
path.
yes. So I would say getting these two stones is a very certain way to go about this endgame. Maybe not
Optimal.
not the best in terms of points, but the most like certain way.
Right. It's making sure. It doesn't need to
Yes.
win by a large margin. I see.
And when you see your opponent play like this, especially if your opponent is AlphaGo,
You can start to do the math.
right.
here.
But actually, that's a hard thing about playing AlphaGo. Because, when players are like at the top,
Mm-hmm.
they have some like top player premium. Are you familiar with that term?
Top player premium. No, that's a
Yes.
new one on me.
Okay. So what happens is that so like when you see a certain move, and so let's say I give you one move and then I ask you, do you think this is a good move? Then say maybe you would think about it like 5 minutes.
Oh, that I am
Yes.
definitely.
And then like I say, Andrew, this move is played by Isidore.
I'll
Do you
say
think
that's
this is a good move?
definitely.
You might not think about it for 5 minutes. You might think about it like for 1 minute instead, right? So that's because we saw Isadore's like a good move again and again, and then we kind of have trust
We give him the
that
benefit
his
of the doubt.
move would be good. Yeah, that's some kind of premium that we talk about.
Got it.
And I think AlphaGo has this premium definitely in terms of like counting. If AlphaGo starts playing these slow moves, you
Yeah.
trust that it's right.
It doesn't feel good, that's for sure.
Yes.
And we can definitely see it looks like Koje is very much struggling to find an extra point anywhere. On the other hand,
Yes.
the AlphaGo premium, they could be slow moves or they could be mistakes. For instance, this
True,
peeping
yes.
move was early enough that
Yes.
you could say maybe this is slow because AlphaGo is already thinking of it ahead. Or you
Right.
could be saying that it's maybe just not good.
Yes.
I imagine that the strong player premium for AlphaGo is rather high right now.
Right, right. So yes, one thing is about AlphaGo having the premium. Another thing is that Koje not having the premium.
That's right.
Yes, like other players would be quite scared of Koje's moves.
I would be.
But Koje knows that AlphaGo would question every move of his.
That's right. He
Yes.
gets no premium
Right,
back.
right, yes.
AlphaGo isn't afraid.
So that's quite, that must be quite difficult.
You expected a warm welcome.
But
Sorry.
still, you know, Koje is probably
too.
the most, how do you say, most players are jealous about this Koje's opportunity
Oh.
to AlphaGo.
For having the chance to play.
Right, right. This opportunity to explore, as we said.
That's right.
Right,
And if
yes.
it means that AlphaGo isn't afraid to pace for having the chance
Right, right.
to see, to try your test metal.
Yes.
And it seems like his plan this game to be very similar in some ways imitating games from the Master Series.
Right.
Is maybe thought of as a way of getting a lesson from AlphaGo in how
Right.
to play against him.
Yes, which is very fitting with the concept of exploring. Yes.
He's school here on how to play against AlphaGo to be better prepared for those tests.
Yes. So we saw AlphaGo entering the two stones
Lessons
as
eyes are so
expected.
deep. You're like a
Then Black
woman's
took this one stone.
Which care of your force as if
Yes,
it's your
the
love.
very best move. And we are seeing that like there is less and less open areas.
Yeah, there's not a lot left. Looks like the monkey jump.
Yes. And white will probably say this one stone.
Certainly would probably be a bad sign for Coach if White did not need to save that stuff.
Oh yeah, not right away. But yes, that's always sentence, so there is no rush.
No rush.
Yes.
You can play this one now.
Right, yes.
Can Black just block, or does he need to worry about it?
White can block, yes. Block here, and black can block.
Black can block.
Yes, yes.
And now he'll have to
Right. This connection will be the most
the
common
most.
one. Yes. Because this one and that one doesn't make difference in terms of points, but this one gives some code threads later for white.
Oh, I see. So since there's no difference there, we might as well avoid it.
Right. Oh, actually, no, I was not quite right in that. After this one, white can have this one instead.
Oh.
Because if black doesn't answer, white can play here and then cut these 5 stones. So that means there is a difference. Black needs to play here. Yes.
Okay.
Right. So if I am black here, I wouldn't actually want to answer this one.
You would think about it too?
Yes, I would. Because you know, we give AlphaGo this premium with counting.
Right.
And if AlphaGo is playing these end games, that probably means that AlphaGo is already seeing the way to win.
Right.
So I would want to somewhat shake the game.
Find something.
Right, find something.
Is there any area that you think is sufficiently unsettled? It seems like after settling in the middle, what else can Jay look for?
Capturing these two stones took away a lot of possibilities that Black could consider. Also, these three stones, before there was white stone over here, that somewhat explore. But now it's stunning. There is no way to stay.
What did Black gain from making this exchange? Was he?
Oh, Black wanted to make sure that this stone is connected.
But now it looks like all of these stones have almost ended up on Game points. Neutral ground.
Right. Black didn't gain any points for itself, but kind of eliminated White's potential. Right, so I thought it might be a good time to start something complicated, but there wasn't much Black could do as a result. Right.
So we're entering into the endgame phase here. And it doesn't seem like there are too many places for surprises. We assume a block here, I imagine.
Right.
Oh yeah, already happened.
So in this game, I would say AlphaGo's strategy was very natural.
Yeah, it seems very flexible.
Yes. And then, like, I think one strength of AlphaGo is that it makes Go look easy.
Now, that tends to be the amateur refrain when discussing professional players.
Yes.
So it's somewhat of a change to hear professional players say that it's making Go look easy.
Yes.
How, if you're a Koje and you're going to go back and review this game and look for some way to prepare for game 2, what sort of mistakes could he have made? Did we see any moves that seemed immediately questionable?
That's
a hard question, I know.
Yes, that is a very hard question. And I have no answer to that.
One effort.
Right. Later, like after this game, when we have more detailed analysis, we might see some like or more like maybe could have tried this move instead. We don't know if it's necessarily better, but like a different possibility. Right.
We will end up questioning his opening strategy, or perhaps some of the earlier.
I'd be curious to hear what Kaji thinks about his own strategy, whether he consider it successful or not. Because he did make a situation where AlphaGo had to attack. And then if Black could like smoothly save, then that would put Black in advantage in terms of points.
Right.
But that didn't quite work
Didn't
out.
seem to happen. Maybe that's a good question for the post-game press conference.
Right, yes.
See if he was satisfied with how the opening developed.
Yeah!
It did seem to be close after the 70-80 moves, which in comparison with a number of the master games, as Michael Redmond has pointed out, many of those seem fairly sewn up with a decisive advantage after the first 50-60 moves.
Right, yes. So if I guess about like a regret point for Black, that would be the upper side. Kaji might wonder whether Black could have done more to attack when White was still somewhat weak. Yes.
Oh, the final conflict.
Right. Before White case this one and that one, because after these two moves, I would say it's already too late.
Right, once these were there, right? It's just
Right.
Best general.
Black might wonder if there was a better way to attack before that happened.
Okay, so that might be one place you look. What about the
Yes.
sequence up here where white seemed to settle with only a small sacrifice on the side? Was this a satisfactory result, I suppose? Or?
I would say that that exchange seemed pretty even to me. Yes.
Need help. I blame myself.
Did white play here?
Smashing down too strong.
And also in the opening, Koje seemed to spend quite some time in blue. But now the game is almost over, and professional players at this point usually doesn't need that much time to be perfect.
Because they've counted all
Right,
of the
yes.
values of all of them.
Right. So it seems like Koje has like more than enough time left. And if it's too late, that means he was not the best in terms of time strategy.
Oh, he could have used this time more earlier.
Right, exactly, yes.
He's left too much buffer. AlphaGo, of course, hasn't even used 1 full hour of a 3-hour time.
That is interesting, yes.
Which is pretty impressive.
It is impressive.
Of course, it does also think on Koje's turn with no loss of efficiency.
Yes, right. Another interesting point of AlphaGo was that although it was somewhat regular,
To the
like
smallest district.
Oh,
all
this
along.
move in the beginning.
No. It was somewhat regular, like all along. But then there were times when it played like very quickly.
Yes.
So it was not always.
I wonder if we could perhaps get a statement from DeepMind on how it was deciding to play some of these responses very quickly.
Right.
What was happening internally?
Yes.
Maybe they could.
Like the most interesting move was this Hane, because most human players would have given quite some time to decide how to respond.
There's a lot of different possibilities.
Right. But AlphaGo, spent quite different time for that.
Huh. Hopefully we can get some insight on that.
Yes. So this Hane was sent there. If white doesn't respond, black can attach here.
Capture
White.
the stone.
Yes.
Best
white
general.
I must block.
And here.
Does black have to save that stone now with the connection, or is he just going to leave that as a later endgame sequence?
That's a good question. I'm not quite sure what the purpose of this exchange was.
Aiming at some complications.
For smashing.
Yes.
It,
So, like capturing these two stones, I quite like it now.
because it's just completely solid.
Right. It's like it's just there's no question now. It's just quite safe. It's a kind of move that I wouldn't consider for myself in the beginning because it would look too slow and too small.
Right, it gives away points. It seems very small.
Right.
But that certainty seems to be worth so much.
Yes.
Because there's very few places for Koje to make the game
Right.
complicated here.
Yes. Yes.
I could see how without those two stones being captured, he could be aiming at some larger way to destabilize the group as a whole, turn it all around, but instead,
Yes. Right. So now the game's getting quite close to the end. There isn't much space left open. As you mentioned, saving this one stone is a quite big place.
right,
And blocking over here is also a good place.
sure. How about a jump up here? Is there any?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. That